Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. The topic of this 10-minute moan is a new story about Lord Alli, who some are suggesting has been investigated by the House of Lords for a donation he made to a fellow member of that House, Baroness Uddin. Now, before we go to the story, we've learned a little bit about Lord Alli and his past, in particular his Politician of the Decade award in 2015, when nobody had actually heard of him, from Stonewall organisation, which was remarkable because you and I didn't know anything about the man then. Yet they, the organisation who drive transgender issues through schools, etc., they knew about him. So I don't know what he'd done to deserve their Politician of the Decade, but he was. So I thought we'd have a look and see who Baroness Uddin is, and then have a look at the story which has suggested links them both. So Baroness Uddin was born Manzila Paula Uddin, she married and became Uddin, in 1959 in what is now Bangladesh. She is a British non-affiliated life peer and community activist. I don't know what a community activist is or what community she's active for, but she's a community activist. And in 2009, she was included in the Guardian's Muslim Women Power List for Britain. She previously sat for Labour when in 2012 Uddin was required to repay £125,000, the largest amount in the United Kingdom parliamentary expenses scandal. Manzila Paula Khan was born the 17th of July 1959 to a Bengali Muslim Khan family from Rajshahi, which is in eastern Pakistan, now Bangladesh. She moved with her parents to the UK in 1973 when she was 13 and grew up in East London. She attended the Plashit School in East Ham and was educated at the University of North London, where she earned a degree in social work. Uddin started her professional career by creating and leading community working groups in the late 70s. In 1980, she started working as a youth and community worker with the YWCA, and then a liaison officer for Tower Hamlets Social Services. A manager of Tower Hamlets Women's Health Project, she then began working for Newham Social Services in 88. In 90, Uddin was elected a Labour councillor in the loyal borough of Tower Hamlets, the first Bengali woman to hold such an office of a local authority in the United Kingdom. She was a deputy leader of Tower Hamlets Council from 94 to 96. In 97, she applied to be the Labour parliamentary candidate for Bethnal Green and Bow constituency, but did not reach the shortlist. Appointed a Labour working peer by Tony Blair, she was raised to the peerage as Baroness Uddin of Bethnal Green in London Borough of Tower Hamlets for life by letters patent in the afternoon of 18th of July 1998 at the House of Lords. She was the youngest woman on the benches and the only Muslim and Asian woman to be appointed to the House of Lords. She was invited to the House of Lords for her contribution to the advancement of women and disability rights, swearing by saying in Almighty Allah as she took her seat in Parliament. Since entering the House of Lords, she's been supported on a handful of initiatives. Uddin has been long campaigning for the increase of skills of Asian women living in Britain. She helped found the first purpose-built education and training centre for Asian women in the UK called the Jagannarii Centre, located in Whitechapel in 1987. Uddin is a member of the EOP Implementation Committee and a trustee of St Catherine's and Shadwell Trust. In 2005, she was selected by Blair to be part of a delegation to tackle Islamic extremism. However, in August 2006, Uddin was a signatory to an open letter to Blair criticising the UK's foreign policy. It was an open letter criticising the government's stance in the Middle East. It was signed by 3 Muslim MPs, which included Sadiq Khan and Mohammed Sarwar, 3 peers and 36 community groups. The letter was criticised by the then Foreign Office Minister, Kim Howells. who criticised Muslim leaders for condemning British foreign policy. In 2008, she was made the chairwoman of the Ethnic Minority Women's Task Force. In 2009, Uddin was nominated for the shortlist of Female Peer of the Year at the Women in Public Life Awards, though this was ultimately unsuccessful. In 2010, the National Executive Committee of the Labour Party suspended Uddin indefinitely from the party in light of the expenses claim allegations. In 2019, a Labour Party spokesman stated that Uddin was a member of the Labour Party. In October 2010, under the recommendation of the Privileges and Conduct Committee of the House of Lords, a suspension is to be handed down to Paula Uddin until Easter 2012, at the earliest, for claiming expenses to which she was not entitled. The committee also acknowledged a repayment agreement for expenses wrongly claimed. In December 2019, Uddin campaigned for the successful Labour Party candidate for Poplar in Limehouse, Asmana Begum, during the 2019 general election. Uddin is a treasurer of the All-Party Parliamentary Group for International Students and chair of Metaverse and Web 3.0. Now we come up to the expense scandal, which is where Lord Alli's drawn into this conversation. So in May 2009, an article in the Sunday Times Insight team alleged that Uddin submitted House of Lords expenses for a flat in Maidstone, Kent, as her main residence. The article alleged Uddin claimed £30,000 per annum of tax-free expenses since purchasing the flat in 2005, and since 2001 on an unnamed residence outside London. The flat purchase was said to be connected to her claim for a second home allowance on her existing London property, a scheme that ostensibly exists to compensate politicians living outside London for the cost of accommodation close to Parliament. She seems to have done it the other way about. So there are expenses available for people who need to come into London to go to Westminster, whether that's Lords or Commons. But she already lived in London. So she bought a flat outside London and then claimed second property on the one that she'd already owned. Where are we? Residents living near the flat in Maidstone reportedly said they had not seen any occupiers in the flat since Uddin purchased it, and that it had remained completely unfurnished until 2009. But Uddin claims the Maidstone property is furnished, and I strongly deny that I have never lived there. Uddin's husband even denied having a property in Kent when questioned an issue by the Times, and she appeared in the lecture role at a London address from 1996 to the present day. Additionally, her Facebook page states how she has lived in the East End of London for over 30 years. Uddin claimed a total of £29,675 for accommodation in 07-08, a time when the maximum daily accommodation claim was £165 a day. This represents a claim at the maximum rate for 179 days, which is more days than the Lords actually sat that year. Oh, right. So the investigation was called on the report of the House of Lords authorities and the police. Uddin said, "I do not believe that I have done anything wrong or breached any House of Lords rules." She stated, "I strongly deny that I have never lived there. Indeed, I have stayed there regularly since buying it." Uddin claims her main home has been outside London since 2001, earning an extra £83,000 as a result. Despite repeated questioning, she refused to state the location and the details of her main home between 01 and 05, for which expenses were also claimed. In January 2010, the Times newspaper revealed the property she'd claimed for during this period was owned and occupied by her brother and his family, with Uddin's sister-in-law stating she couldn't recollect the peer ever living there. She also has one of the highest claims for overnight subsistence of any member of the Lord. Uddin's home in Wapping, where she lives and is registered to vote, is a housing association property. Spitalfields Housing Association received a public subsidy of £37.8 million in 2008 alone. The average rent of the property is £104 a week, a sixth of the market rate. The allegations of fraud led the Conservative opposition leader in Tower Hamlets, Peter Golds, to state Lady Uddin is depriving a low-income family of a home which was built for the needy at public expense. On the 5th of May 2009, one of the senior Lords officials, clerk of the Parliament, announced that the House of Lords authorities would investigate the report by the Sunday Times. Uddin welcomed the investigation, saying, "I welcome this review and will cooperate fully with him in the hope of a speedy resolution and clarity that I not break the rules of the House." On the 23rd of November, Uddin's case was passed to the police for possible prosecution for fraud. The Daily Telegraph later reported that she was refusing to cooperate with the police investigation, refusing to answer any questions. The Crown Prosecution Service, guess who led that at the time? Keir Starmer, announced on the 10th of March 2010 that Baroness Uddin would not face any charges on the grounds that a senior parliamentary official ruled that a peer's main house might be a place they only visit once a month. There were no indications that the expenses would be paid back. In October 2010, the House of Lords Privileges and Conduct Committee ruled that Baroness Uddin had acted in bad faith and recommended that she should be asked to repay £125,349 as well as being suspended from Parliament until Easter 2012. Lord Alli lent Uddin £62,000 to help her repay the expenses. On the 21st of October, the House of Lords voted to accept the committee's recommendations. However, in November 2011, it was revealed that no formal mechanism existed to prevent Baroness Uddin returning to the House of Lords, even if she refused to repay the expenses that were fraudulently claimed, leading many members of her own party to call for her to resign rather than bring the House of Lords into further disrepute. In December 2011, the House Committee in the Lords recommended that Uddin and Lord Hanningfield should not be allowed back to Lords until the outstanding expenses had been repaid. The money was repaid in 2012 with the help of £124,000 of loans from friends, and she returned to membership of the House of Lords in May 2012. The amount of money Uddin was required to repay, £125,349, was the largest amount of the United Kingdom parliamentary expenses scandal. That's not the only scandal she was involved in. This next one's a lot shorter to explain to you. Further expenses claims by Uddin were later discovered when the Sunday Times revealed that she owns a mansion in Bangladesh. The mansion was described as made out of Italian marble with tiles, mosaics and with a balcony. The mansion was believed to have been built after Uddin became peer in 1998, costing £140,000, which was organised by her husband Keir. Located in Java Bazaar in Chatak, this is where many of her in-laws are originally from. However, Uddin claims that the land was bought by her husband's family, purchased by Keir's father in 1980. That doesn't mean you didn't build a house on it. So there we go. That's this woman that I'd never heard of up until last night, Baroness Uddin, who's no stranger to a bit of scandal with expenses. And it now transpires she's now tied to someone else who's no stranger to the odd donation or two to people round about the Labour Party. Because the Labour donor, Lord Alli, is expected to be investigated by this loan. And there we go, with confirmation. The Times reported that at the time of a possible criminal prosecution, Keir Starmer was the head of the Prosecution Service that dropped all charges. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please hit the subscribe and notifications button. If you've not already done so, put your comments below and let me know what you think of this and the video. But most importantly of all, unless you're one of these ever-growing number of Labour people, we'll be not a wee bit of the dodge, not you, but
everyone else. Have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.